All right. I've always been getting out the same way. It's kind of boring. Anyway, I think it's interesting seeing the kicking off of a lot of the Wignat or the Witnat groups. There's no more. The alt right is really dead, isn't it? And there are going to be your Marxist Leninists, your Jason Unruhs and everything else like that. But in general, I mean, if we want to look at it, in terms of market research, is that they've stagnated, right? There's still people that are going to come up and they're going to call themselves, maybe left wing or maybe even socialist or social democrat or maybe even Marxist or Marxist Leninist. But in general, that market is kind of stale, right? And I think the new trend, and this comes up with even with people like Superpower Broadcasting, aka Kevin Castle, is the growth of neoliberal slash neoconservative. And I know that there's a difference. Neoliberal is simply a economic system. Neoconservatism, is its own system in itself. But the thing is that I think this is where the future of political YouTube is going, in my opinion. In my opinion, that's where it's going to go. Because I just don't see a big growth in, it's like I say, I mean, like I say, the fash, or the far right, or whichever term you want to use, they're done. The left wing has gone flat, I think, in general. But yeah, neoconservatism and neoliberalism are obviously growing. And you have people that, obviously, like I said, you had that, but you also had people like Crowton T, who of course have always been liberal minded, this and that. And ultimately he is going to, he is now rebranded to just be a country ball channel where he'll make, these long documentaries and everything else like that. He just finished a big long documentary on Turkey, this and that. And I think that's kind of the future of political YouTube, I think, to a point. And we're going to see how that influences people. Yeah, conservatism still exists, and but it's like, once again, other than boomers and whatnot, who's really watching TPUSA's YouTube channel? Not that many people, So I think that's a potential growth. It's not going to be anywhere near like it was with, the Wignet groups and everything else like that. They're going to be okay, at least for the most part, in terms of censorship and everything else. But I think it's interesting to see the growth of that, in terms of where these channels are going to go. Like I said, I mean, it's just a trend. Like I say, I think that a lot of that comes from the promise of Joe Biden. And it's like, well, Joe Biden is going to bring us back to, a better system, make America great again. He's really going to make it great, not just some empty words from Donald Trump. And of course, we know that's not true. We know it isn't. And we're going to see where that goes. But yeah, I think in general, we're seeing, kind of this moving to moving to more of a center or maybe even a center right sort of position. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. Yeah, it's just interesting to me that people are still going to defend. It's like basically they'll say that the state exists because of liberalism. And I say to myself, yes and no. Yeah, the original idea of the state, if we want to look at, I can't think of the name of the treaty offhand, but basically, I can't think which or was it the? Let me go ahead and look it up real quick. I'm sorry, I'm gonna sound like a fool yet. Westphalia, that's it. Yeah, the Treaty of Westphalia was the one that really created the idea of the state. And of course, 1648. This is at the end of the 30 Years' War, which is what created the idea of, at least the state. And I guess, you can say that liberalism did that, but it's like liberalism also talks about individual rights and everything else when it's like, but it also includes a free market. And of course, free market is an oxymoron. The market is not free because we know, and of course, like I say, this goes into kind of like libertarianism and whatnot, but it's like, well, it's not free. No, free markets don't exist. They don't exist anywhere in the world, in my opinion. You can try to make it as fair as you want to and leave the government out as much as you want to, but guess what? Is that monopolies get created, and you give these, and like I say, I remember typing it in, talking about, the Koch brothers working, or excuse me, Koch brothers' father working in both Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union. He's just like, well, that was because FDR was a socialist. I'm like, what? How can you say that? And that was just capitalism unhinged and whatnot. It's like, oh, give me a fucking break. You can't argue with these folks. I know. I'm still on it, but it's like, I do think that that's going to be one of the new trends. And of course, like I say, I'm looking at Liberal Sanity Project as well. And of course, like I say, he's another one of those folks that's talking about these ideas as well, liberal ideas. And of course, he's been around. But we're going to see where this trend goes, like I say. But I think a lot of folks, as I was kind of discussing with An and Kazan last night, is, political YouTube has just kind of gone flat. I think everyone's just, depressed. It doesn't matter if you're left wing or right wing, because they know it's going to be shit, and that you're going to get fucked over regardless, It's like, for me, you might as well just join the lumping gang, And, lumping gang does exist, yeah. If you watch those, it's like there's that one dude who's got the simultaneous Boston accent and the Florida accent. I can't think of that guy's name, but, talking about all the wannabe gangsters and stuff like that. So, shit, that's probably the future, isn't it? But yeah, it's wild to think about. The communities that get built on YouTube and then they're destroyed, And now, we're just kind of stuck in this malaise, though, aren't we? Where, excuse me, where the far right has lost all credibility. Arguably, they lost credibility back in 2017, but it took 4 years to finally realize. But yeah, the credibility is gone there. The far left doesn't really have, didn't really gain any, legitimacy or anything else like that. They can talk, progressives can talk about AOC and how great she is. And the thing is, of course, she still supports, coups and everything else. And same thing with Bernie Sanders. He'll still say stuff like, well, the dictatorship that exists in Venezuela, this and that. It's like, oh, give me a break, Bernie, So, yeah, like I say, it's just, people are just burnt out, And so people are just going back and just saying, a lot of the younger kids are being influenced by this and say, yeah, neoliberalism is the way. Yeah, we need to continue on with this, because my freedoms and whatnot. And of course, it's like, then you could respond, oh, well, what about anarchism? Oh, we don't care about that. Oh, So anyway, I don't know if that made much sense, but I hope y'all enjoyed it. See you later, and goodbye.